Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Welcome to my English learning. I'm WH.Q. Today I'm going to share and cover a topic that had delivered previous by me, namely passive voice in using of what-how question based on standard English grammar. To know more about the explanation, so let's get started. As we had known together that passive voice is a grammatical construction in which the subject of a sentence receives the action of the verb rather than performing the action itself. In passive voice, the object of the action becomes the subject of the sentence, and the agent or the entity performing the action is often either omitted or placed in a prepositional phrase, that is, by agent. In this video, we are going to learn how to use passive voice in what-how question. First, we have to know what is the pattern of what-how question first. That is, what-how question plus auxiliary plus subject plus verb plus complement plus question mark. That is important that it has to remember later. And we have to remember again the general pattern of passive voice, be plus verb 3. And don't forget the main purpose of this video. We have to remember the general pattern of what-how question in passive voice. What-how question plus auxiliary plus subject plus verb 3 plus complement plus question mark. There are 9 question words or what-how questions in this explanation which will be delivered later. Okay, first is who. It's used for asking subject person. And here I give a sentence that include some what-how question. They often watch movies at the cinema on weekends to relax. Because who is used for asking subject person, so the subject in the sentence has to trace and we change into who. Then after we change the sentence into what-how question, we should change into passive voice in what-how question. In the active what-how question, who often watch movies at the cinema on weekends, and we change into passive voice, by whom are movies often watched at the cinema. Next, the second what-how question is how. It's used for reason, and especially for the sentence I used a frequency. The sentence is they often watch movies at the cinema on weekends to relax. The explanation of this what-how question is same with the previous. How to make this a sentence into passive voice in what-how question, it's same. So we have to change first the sentence into active what-how question. How often do they watch movies? And then we change into passive voice. How often are movies watched by them? And the next what-how question is what. It's used for asking predicate. In the sentence, they often watch movies at the cinema on weekends to relax. So here in the sentence, we are going to ask about watch. So we have to change the sentences into active what-how question. What do they often do? Then we change into passive voice. What are often done by them? Actually, there are 3 kinds of how to use what in what-how question. First is what it's used for asking predicate, and the second one is used for asking subject thing, and the third one is used for asking object thing. And in the previous we had talk about used what in predicate, And this section we are going to talk about what in the using of subject, asking subject thing, and what in asking about object thing. Here I give you an example sentence. My cat ever kicks your elephant. So here I give underlined in the word my cat and your elephant. My cat as subject thing and your elephant as object thing. So first we are going to ask about the subject in the sentence, my cat. So we change into active what how question. What does ever kick your elephant? So why we used what? Why we don't use who? Because my cat is refer to animal, so it's refer to thing. So we have to use what. So what does ever kick your elephant? After we have changed the sentence into active or how question, we change into passive voice. By what is your elephant ever kicked? And the second one, we ask about your elephant as object thing. So we change into active or how question. What does my cat ever kick? And then we change into passive voice. What is ever kicked by my cat? It's so simple. And the next one, what a how question, where? It's used for asking place. In the sentence, they often watch movies at the cinema on weekends to relax. So in this section, we are going to ask about at the cinema, how to ask at the cinema and what how question. First, we have to change the sentence into active what how question. Where do they often watch movies on weekends? Then we have to change into passive what how question. Where are movies often watched by them on weekends? And next one, what how question when? It's used for asking time. The sentence, they often watch movies at the cinema on weekends to relax. Here we are going to ask about on weekends. It talk about time. So we have to change the sentence into active or how question. When do they often watch movies at the cinema? Then we change into passive voice. When are movies often watched by them at the cinema? And next one, what a how question, why? It's used for asking reason. In the sentence, they often watch movies at the cinema on weekends to relax. So here in the section, we are going to ask about to relax. It's used for reason. Then we have to change the sentence into active or a how question. Why do they often watch movies at the cinema on weekends? Then we have to change into passive voice. Why are movies often watched by them at the cinema on weekends? So we can answer the question, it's to relax. And next one, what a how question, whose? It's used for possession. And the example sentence is, my father likes my sauce. So here we are going to ask about my in sauce. So we have to determine what we are going to ask about it. So it's about possession. So we have to change the sentence into active what how question. Whose sauce does my father like? Then we have to change into passive voice. Whose sauce is liked by my father? And next one, what how question which? It's used for choice. The example sentence is, you like a cheap red book. So here we determine that we are going to ask about a cheap red. So we have to change the sentence into active Wadahaw question. Which book do you like? So we can answer the question is you like a cheap read book. Then we have to change the sentence active Wadahaw question into passive voice. Which book are liked by you? And the last one for Wadahaw question is whom. It's used for asking object person. The example sentence is you always invite her to the party. We determined that I had underlined the word her, so we are going to ask about object person her here. Then we have to change the sentence into active Wadahaw question. Whom do you always invite to the party? Then we have to change into passive voice. Whom always invited to the party by you? After we have already learned passive voice in Wadahaw question, now we should exercise our understanding about it. Here there are 9 exercises and I will give you an example in the first exercise. First exercise, who? Who takes my dictionary? So we change into passive voice. By whom is my dictionary taken? So it's the example exercise. So for the next exercise, you should answer it by yourself to try your understanding. Thank you very much for your attention and watching this video. Hopefully we got some beneficial knowledge about the passive voice in Wadahaw question. From me, I'm so sorry if you got mistake from my explanation about it. I'm so sorry and thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.